Have you ever had a task fall behind schedule without affecting the overall project deadline? At first glance, that might seem impossible. If a task is delayed, shouldn't the entire project be delayed too? Not necessarily. One of the most useful concepts in project management is something called float. Float helps us understand which tasks have scheduling flexibility and which tasks absolutely must stay on track if we want to meet a project deadline. Welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, I'm Dr. Katie Linder, a certified project manager, change manager, and coach who works full-time leading and supporting teams in higher education. On this channel, I offer real-world examples of how project management translates into the higher ed environment. If you're looking for ways to use project management tools and skills, both professionally and personally, to bring more ease to your work and life, you're in the right place. If you've never heard of the concept of float, you're not alone. It's one of those basic project management terms that's not often used outside of the discipline. Float refers to the amount of time a task can be delayed without causing a delay to the overall project completion date. In other words, float represents scheduling flexibility. Some activities in a project have room to move, and others do not. Understanding the difference can help project managers focus their attention where it matters most. To see how this works, imagine you're leading a project to launch a new student orientation program. One task involves creating marketing materials for the program. Another task involves securing the event space. A third task focuses on training orientation leaders. Some of these activities may have extra time built into the schedule. If a task is delayed by a few days, the project can still finish on time. Other tasks may be so important that any delay immediately affects everything that comes after them. This is where float becomes super valuable. It helps us identify which tasks have flexibility and which tasks don't. Tasks with zero float are often part of what's known as the critical path. These are the activities that directly determine the project's completion date. If one of those tasks is delayed, the entire project may be delayed as well. I recorded a separate video on the critical path method that I'll link in the description below if you want to check it out. Tasks with positive float have some breathing room. They can be delayed by a certain amount of time before they begin to impact the project schedule. One way to think about float is as a scheduling cushion. Imagine you're driving to the airport for a flight. If you plan to arrive 2 hours early, you have some flexibility. A traffic delay might be inconvenient, but it won't necessarily cause you to miss your flight. That extra time is similar to float. On the other hand, if you're planning to arrive at the airport just minutes before boarding begins, even a small delay could create a major problem. In project management terms, that activity has little or no float. Understanding float helps project managers make better decisions when unexpected issues arise. Let's say 2 tasks are experiencing delays. One task has 10 days of float remaining, while the other has no float at all. Knowing this information helps you determine where to focus your attention first. The task with no float represents a greater risk to the overall project timeline. Float can also be useful when resources are limited. Many higher education professionals work on multiple projects simultaneously. Teams often need to decide where to allocate staff time, funding, or other resources. When you understand which tasks have flexibility and which don't, you can make more informed decisions about where to prioritize your efforts. Another benefit of understanding float is that it helps reduce unnecessary stress. Sometimes project teams react to every delayed task as though it represents a crisis. But not every delay carries the same level of risk. When you know a task has available float, you can evaluate the situation more calmly and determine whether immediate intervention is actually necessary. Of course, float shouldn't be viewed as extra time to waste. One common mistake is assuming that because a task has float, it can be ignored. The amount of available float can quickly disappear if delays continue or if other project activities begin to shift. Instead, float should be viewed as a resource that helps provide flexibility and manage uncertainty. Like budget, staffing, or time, float is something that should be monitored and managed carefully throughout the life of a project. The next time you're reviewing a project timeline, consider asking not only when a task is due, but also how much float that task has available. That simple question can provide valuable insight into where your attention is needed the most. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Have you ever worked on a project where understanding schedule flexibility helped you avoid a major deadline issue? And if you found this video helpful, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more content on how to use project management approaches in higher education. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.